What's up, folks? We're on to the Philadelphia Eagles review. I have the Eagles pretty high, 14th in my power rankings. They got the quarterback, they got the offensive line, and they got the defense. I think this team's going to take a pretty big step forward and probably compete for the playoffs next year. So let's take a look here at the quarterback. Carson Wentz does go up to an 80. I think he really does have all the traits. Definitely has the physical and mental part of the game. The only thing that is really a knock on him at this point is his accuracy. So you will see with his accuracy, it is his weakest part on my roster. Actually, his medium seems to be where he struggles, kind of throwing over the middle of the field. So I am looking forward to playing with Carson Wentz to see how that plays in the game. I do want to point out a lot of people are commenting on my quarterback overalls. Notice they are pretty low in general, definitely lower than EA's. This is because I feel like quarterback it doesn't really feel important in Madden. So I want to make the overalls a little lower just to really emphasize the importance of the position. And then Chase Daniel, another very solid backup at 70 overall. On to the running backs, all these guys going down. I think Darren Sproles is a little overrated. You'll notice another trend with receiving backs. I lower their ball carrier vision a lot because these guys aren't starting running backs; that they're down backs for a reason. And there's definitely a difference in ball carrier vision for receivers and running backs. Darren Sproles having more of a receiver's ball carrier vision, but when you put him at running back and you have him with like a 90 ball carrier vision, his overall is inflated. So moving that down, his in between the tackles vision is definitely not very good. Ryan Matthews is getting up there in age, and I think the Eagles will be definitely one of the top teams looking for a running back, definitely a candidate for Leonard Fournette. So we'll see who ends up as the running back there. At receiver, also going to be need to addressed. I like Jordan Matthews a lot. Green Beckham at least took some strides forward, but really the skill players in general on this Eagles team, it's going to be a fun year for Eagles fans because I think they're really going to address the running back, receiver, tight end. They're all right. Zach Ertz, I had to move down a little bit. He's a fine player. He definitely makes some mistakes, and it's the reason he hasn't hit that upside of like a one of those top tight ends. And then on to Trey Burton. He's pretty good. He's a young, good athlete. Definitely kind of broke out this year. And Brent Selleck, I had to move down. Just not really a receiving threat anymore. Onto the offensive line, a very good offensive line, like I said earlier. Jason Peters, Barb, Kelsey, actually a Pro Bowler, but kind of struggles in pass pro, just kind of undersized, and you'll see him get pushed around. But he is so athletic. He's fun to watch in space. And then Brandon Brooks, a stud, and Lane Johnson, probably the best right tackle in football. And then onto the defensive line. I've talked a lot about Brandon Graham. I changed his rating. It goes down, but you'll notice, his strength and power moves go up. That's really what he specializes in, is just driving that, usually the right tackle back. He's a fun guy to watch, but he's not an elite, top-notch pass rusher. He doesn't have a ton of skill moves, and he's not very efficient in the run game, doesn't get off blocks the best. And then Connor Barwin goes up. I like his game a lot. Onto the D-line, Fletcher Cox goes up. Probably their best defensive player. The linebackers all going down a little bit. I love Jordan Hicks. I think he was a little too highly rated, as well as Nigel Bradham. He's a fine player, but not a top 10 linebacker by any means. And then the corners, I actually hardly touched these guys at all. Dwayne Gratz moves down. He hasn't really played in a long time. And then the safeties, actually swapped these two. Malcolm Jenkins definitely plays more like a free safety. He's awesome in coverage. I was actually disappointed in how Madden rates Malcolm Jenkins. They have him as more of like a thumping strong safety, like a Cam Chancellor type, and that's not him at all. They use him a ton in man-to-man, and he's really good at it. I believe they had him really in single coverage on Odell Beckham for a lot of that Giants game late in the year, and he did a pretty good job. And Malcolm Jenkins is one of my favorite players in the NFL. So he goes up a good bit. He was an 85 overall. And then the other safeties, some good depth there. So that concludes the Eagles review. We'll see you. The next episode is going to be the Falcons. So peace out, guys.